Yo, what's going on? So today I'm just going to be breaking down my go-to model that I use consistently, sort of almost every single day. This is just one of my models, but again, it's my go-to, and I've been getting a bunch of questions. Kaza, how do you trade? What's your go-to strat? What's your model? So I'm just going to be breaking it down. So I decided to name it Kaza's model, but you could call it whatever you want to call it. This is sort of just what I look for whenever I'm trading. But my specific time window is 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then I'm primarily focusing or looking at the opening range gap, and then the first presents a fair value gap too, if it's in conjunction to what I'm looking for, A plus setup. And then I always look for price. Like, where is price? Is it above New York open? And then if it is it also in conjunction with the 8:30 opening price? Yes, yes. Criteria checked out. I'm looking for time-based SMT. You guys may be wondering, what is time-based SMT? We'll dive into that. But I also look for time-based liquidity. So where is price in terms of session-based liquidity? So London high, London lows, and then Asian lows and Asian highs. These are prominent highs and lows slash session-based liquidity that the market likes to refer back to. And after we either sweep one out, we target opposing, or we look for trades in conjunction to a higher time frame pity array, and again, time-based SMT. All right, so this is the example that I went ahead and illustrated or drawed out for you guys. But basically, I start looking for trades at 9, so this is kind of like my filter. And then I look at price in terms of where is it in terms of midnight open. It's huge. So if we open up and we have an SMT, again, time-based SMT, because it's below midnight open. So if we're below midnight open, what does that mean? We're at discount pricing. If we're above it, what does that mean? We are in a premium. And then if it's in conjunction with our 8:30 opening price, we are in a rich or deep premium, or rich and deep discount. But this is just like a really good example. Right here, we have time-based SMT at the lows. We're below midnight open. We traded slightly above, super duper heavy, traded below, created this time-based SMT. Traded above, right? So this is going to be your what? This is going to be your 9:30 opening bell. And if you have a first presented fair value gap that lines up with the midnight open, I call this your precision levels. If it either lines up with your 8:30 opening price or your midnight opening price, these, like this level, it's really strong. So we create a fair value gap, we trade into the fair value gap. This would have been your first long entry. Trade through this short-term high, creating what? Change state and delivery. You could have re-entered right here. And then my buy side objective or terminus would have been either Asian highs or London highs. Yep, should have take profit. Flip it backwards. It works for shorts, it works for longs. I'm going to show you guys a couple of specific examples where we start looking for trades. So we start at 9. So this is our cutoff. We have all these smooth, relative equal highs. We take out these lows below us, and then 9:30 opening bell. I mean, you guys could see 8:30's price. 8:30's price was, I have it marked out right there. And we trade below it. So what does that mean? We're below 8:30 opening price and midnight opening price. We're in a deep discount. What is bound to happen? A rally to the upside. What do we wait for before the rally to the upside? You guys can see all this chop, 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 chop. How do we avoid getting chopped up? We wait for time-based SMT. The reason why this is time-based SMT is because it's below 8:30 and midnight open. That's the only time that I'll strictly use SMT. If there's SMT on the lows, for example, like let's say, this isn't really a good example to look for SMTs at the lows, but let's say there's SMT at the lows like right here, right? And we're above 8:30 open and midnight open. I'm completely disdaining that SMT. It's out of sight, out of mind. I'm not even looking at it. But right here, we have a time-based SMT as it's below. This is kind of like our filter for our SMTs, but it's also time-based because it's using specific times like the midnight open and the 8:30 open. And so we have a time-based SMT at these lows. We have a CSID right here. This would have been my entry because I really like CSIDs. And then my stops would have been at main threshold of these two candles right here. So stops would have been right there. And then you could have pyramided off of this inversion, off of this BISI, and then off of this gap as well, targeting what? Time-based liquidity as well. Either Asian highs, London highs, or just whatever is smooth. So all these smooth relative equal highs, That'd been your first target. And so then this was a higher time frame PD array. And then we had a time-based SMT again, and it just sent us straight down. But today was honestly a pretty good day. Or Thursday of NFP, like prior to NFP, it was pretty good because my model was present not only for longs, but it was present for shorts as well. Because we are what we're whenever we tapped into this higher time frame PD array, we created a time-based divergence because we were above the midnight open and 8:30. So then we had reasoning to what to close out of all our positions, and you could have even what shorted the market, could have just ping ponged it right here. All right, so this is a really good example. As you guys can see, we created a time-based SMT, but you always have to ask yourself, where is price and where is our midnight open or 8:30 open? So we're above 8:30 open and midnight open, and then we also have what our RTH or opening range gap right here, which we failed to hit constant current encroachment of. So that's also a strong sort of like magnet, if you guys want to think of it like that. But these gaps, they kind of serve as magnets and they just draw price towards it. But we create a time-based or filtered SMT. We create a time-based or filtered SMT because we're above what? We're above 8:30 opening price, above midnight opening price, and then we create a divergence right here. So your entry could have been right after creating the SMT, either off of this inversion, which we don't hit, but this is actually your first presented fair value gap right here. So the moment that it inversed through it, you could have been in short, but you could have also waited for what? 2 consecutive SIBIs. You guys already know this, but stops for me would have been at CE of this gap since we have 2 consecutive fair value gaps. And I would have been targeting CE of RTH, and then I would have let my runner hit to midnight open or even these lows right here. Then we could just play it out and see what happens. But straight to TP, instant reversal. That was nice. But yep, so those are 2 examples of sort of Casa's model. If you guys have any type of questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always active in the Discord. The link is going to be in the description to join. But yeah, see you guys in the next one, and peace.